Now, the first lecturer for the morning, he was a provost of this forum. When he was provost 1, I was provost 2. No, you were provost first, before you became a head. And as the Lord will have it, the office he left in government house is the one I'm occupying today in government house. He's a brother, and a brother indeed, a man of prayer, a man of good heart, a civil servant that you love to meet, and you will always have pleasant experience after that. He's somebody who has organized free trainings for newly converted officers. The head of service, you're part of them? God, correct. Really? Wonderful. Free books. So this is the man that we have. Please put your hands together for Mr. Ifeanyi Osuya, Director of Administration, State Bureau for Pensions. You're welcome, sir.
Good morning, all. We meet again. Well, you'll be having view of the PowerPoint, but today is congested for you. On that note, I'll use the word. I'll use the word because the word is on have more concerns than the PowerPoint. So that though he said there will be technical repetition, but all I know is that I said there will not be diplomatic. There won't be diplomatic repetition because I don't have that technical knowledge. So what we are going to discuss now is very relevant, but on the surface, it may not look so. Reason being that it's like somebody who just gained admission into the university, and instead of talking about matriculation, they are talking about graduation lecture. You see, the interest will reduce. We are talking about pension now. Meanwhile, they are going to induct you today. But what we are going to discuss will be very beneficial to you all through your service and after your service. So I plead with you to give me desired attention. The topic before us is Understanding Contributory Pension. If you have been close to those who are our superior, you have been close to those, majority, even working in the system. By the system, I'm talking about the pension environment. They don't know up to 40%. Majority of your superior officers we are seeing don't know even up to 10% of the details of contributory pension. It's when they retire and they come to the office, they begin to move around. Senior citizens begin to move around like sheep without shepherd. Today, that disease is going to be cured using you as foundation. Because when the foundation is right, the righteous will always excel. But when the foundation is bad, the righteous, what can the righteous do? However, it will not augur well. However, it will not augur well for me to just go straight without acknowledging our senior citizen Oga Oseneku. During our induction, you heard Mrs. Agas yesterday. I and Mrs. Agas we resumed the same day. As I resumed, I was directed to the office of the personnel director, one late Mr. Okafor, head of service. I was there waiting for him. They said he went to PS office, Shedet Barbara. And then the man came back and said, these people are resuming now. What's wrong with the man? These people are resuming now. Two of them just came. And he has directed them to meet one Mr. Suku late too. That was when I went there. They were writing their names, two of them, and I had to write my name. They started contesting, the authorities started contesting that I resumed first. I said, no, I don't argue with anybody. In our induction, the moderator, the coordinator of that induction was Oga Oseneku. Just the way that one was administered by the state government, and he was the one that coordinated it. And in that induction, precisely about 24 years ago, he conducted, like you had class rep. I was the assistant class rep, and the class rep, unfortunately, is late now. That was how he now exposed me to, by saying the assistant class rep, since the first lecture, the class rep gave vote of them, assistant class rep, we give vote of them. And from that day, I was discovered. So please, sitting here is one of our founding fathers. A hand of applause for him. The same way, one day, you too will give lecture. Why I'm saying this is for you to be encouraged. One day, nobody carried this knowledge from village or from home. It's in the process of coming to work. Don't mind others. Anytime they say lecture, go. Anytime they say training, go. Don't miss it, please. It will differentiate you from the crowd. It was the foundation they gave to us that made the few of us to be who we are. Don't ever look down on yourself, please. Before I came to service, lecturers used to write ASCOM to the admin officer. And when I came, I wanted to leave. The then director of recruitment, just immediate past director, one Ojugo, told me, don't move. Even when I got this admission, this employment, a lecturer confessed to me that he doesn't know why he did not write ASCOM. And that is why, rounding up now on this preamble, one time at federal service, we had head of service, Professor Ibrahim Oladipo. Civil service don't give prof. It just later on, the political terrain changed everything. But notwithstanding, you are the cream. I attended a training at Enugu, wherein I was the only civil servant. About 5 years ago, I was the only civil servant in the hall. The rest were professors, lecturers, and central bank workers. When we came, upon introduction, they found out I was civil servant. They were all, you will just see it, obviously looking down on me. When the lecture started, for those of us who studied admin, first degree, second degree, and coming to do admin work is part of us. When the lecture started, the lecturer was obviously doing what we call copy and paste. What is written will be quite different from his interpretation. And these other participants were busy copying. I will say, excuse me, sir, please read, just read that statement, that sentence, please read it again. He will read it. I said, I don't understand. He will explain. I said, don't you think that the right explanation is this? He will now look at it. He says, it's correct, or is it not? He will ask them. The participant will not respond because they don't know it. He will not say it's correct. When he did it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, he lost his comportment. Whenever he's lecturing, as he was lecturing, he would be looking at me after explanation, as if to say, is it correct? And I decided to keep my cool. He was not comfortable. He started asking me, or as put in 35 years of service, whichever comes first. You now see where your general paper question used to come out from. When you are attending rigorous interview after passing your ASCO. All these things from day one, they are put in place to equip you to excel. Now, let us look at the contributory pension, the concept of the contributory pension. Due to issues that were inherent in the administration of the defined pension scheme, DBS, in this content, is not Delta Broadcasting Service. It has everything to do with that was what they call the old pension scheme before contributory pension came. So, because of the inherent issues, the act was investigated in 2008. Thank you. And amended in 2013. The law of Delta State was amended in 2014, while that of Federal was 2014. That of Delta State 2013, Federal 2014. This established the CPS, like anytime you hear me say CPS, is Contributory Pension Scheme, as the new pension scheme for the state public service. Now, what I'm saying now affects you. From the day you are employed, because employment without payment is prohibited according to public service, is forbidden according to the public service of Delta State. So when you are employed, part of your money, 7.5%, is deducted directly from your salary, meaning that you're already working towards your pension. And it is very, very good for you to know about what affects you. The state government is on its own contributing 10% of your own money, your own salary, the gross, into your account, doing the contribution for you. So that is how it's been operated. As the name implies, the contributory pension scheme is basically a scheme designed to ensure that both the employee and the employer set aside a minimum percentage of the worker's salary to provide for the employee's retirement. This is in line with the provisions of section. Let me just use, very soon I will go away with these technical details. But the essence of pointing it out is for you to know that it's well gazetted, it is law, it has a legal backing. It is documented officially. Section 4, subsection 1 of the Pension Reform Act, and that is for federal. And section 11, subsection 1 of Delta State Pension Reform Law, which states that both the employer and the employee shall contribute towards the retirement benefit of an employee. The contributions shall be remitted into the retirement savings account, which I will explain it later when we get there, which shall be managed by a licensed pension fund administration. If I ask you who because they are legal entity, is your pension fund administration. Some of you will start calling IBCC, Oak Pension, you'll be calling them. They are the pension fund administrators. licensed by PENCOM, recognized by Delta State. The ones Delta State recognized and engaged are the one serving the public officers. Now, we discussed that there was DBS, Defined Pension Scheme. We discussed that there is a new one called Contributory Pension Scheme, wherein you are involved. Now, let us comparative analysis of old and new pension scheme. It's just what we want to look into now. In comparing the old and new pension scheme, there are remarkable differences between them that will briefly be highlighted here. In the old scheme, the total obligation of paying pension was administered by the government, while in the contributory pension scheme, accumulated pension payment at retirement, that is the money you get when you retire, is based on a pension plan in which an employer and employee contribute to build a pension fund for the worker. Every month you contribute, you are building the pension fund for the worker. Under the old pension scheme, there was no provision for funding retirement benefits or funding of retirement benefits, unlike the contributory pension fund scheme, where pension fund is established from the day a worker is employed. Employees who leave one employment for another or are even dismissed from service have no fear of losing their entire retirement benefits under the new contributory pension scheme. Under the new scheme, the regulation and supervision of contributory pension, the regulation is being done by National Pension Commission, PENCOM. Anytime you hear PENCOM, it's simply National Pension Commission. Take note of that. While the defined pension scheme was jointly regulated by the Security and Exchange Commission, SEC, National Insurance Commission, NICOM, and the Joint Tax Board. Now, the body that is regulated is just like Office of Head of Service and Parent Ministry. The Office of Head of Service is in charge of admin officers matter. PENCOM is in charge of all the PFAs, whatever they are doing. It regulates their assets. It regulates them to check their assets. Now, in order for us to move together on the same page, there are some points we want to explain. The first one, that is terms and acronyms now, is Contributory Pension Scheme. I'll be using that one, CPS. I need brief explanation. This is a remuneration policy earmarked for those who have retired from active service. It is administered in such a way that both employer and employee contribute specific percentage of the staff emolument during the officer's service years into a retirement savings account of that officer, pending when the officer will exit from service. For assessment, the money we put there for assessment as benefits. You may have heard, or you may not have heard, of actual valuation or benefits for service or accrued rights. They are all meaning the same thing. See, anytime you are in for any training, please compel yourself to have interest. Like when we are going through induction, because we are going to input of tasks, I and the then class rep, we are always listening, irrespective of the fact that Some of the points there looks big. We don't know anything about them. The same thing, like those who are good in mathematics and sciences, once we consider mathematics is tough, mathematics is tough. Because of our innate interest or desire to know, we were able to overcome. Don't just switch off your mind. It's not good for you. So, accrued right is a term commonly used in contributory pension scheme. It could be described as a form of sovereign payment earned for services previously rendered before the commencement of the contributory pension. Now, when you see politicians, when the tenure is over, you hear them saying sovereign allowance, you take your vehicle, you pay social amount. Accrued right is what government, your entitlement, the entitlement of the officer before contributory pension started. Those who are giving certificate now, they are accrued right, what they were entitled to before the commencement of contributory pension in the state is what we are giving the certificate with which they will now go and assess their payment. You hear of harmonization. Harmonization is part of accrued right. When minimum wage is increased, that portion of minimum wage that was not paid before the commencement of the contributory pension is what Governor Kowa approved. And today, that portion is being paid as harmonization. Some people are receiving 5 million, even below. Some are receiving up to 20-something million, which would have gone down the drain. Accrued right. You yourself, you are not entitled to accrued right. Because since 2022, the Bureau for State Pension has been paying those who have harmonization alongside their accrued right. Then yourself that was deployed, because you were not there before the contributory pension started, you don't have harmonization. So take note of that. The retirement savings account, you have been hearing retirement savings, you have your salary account. Your salary account is where government pays your salary into. If you like, have 3 accounts, different funds. That one that you are giving to government is the one they pay your salary into. The same thing, your retirement savings account is where they pay, is being managed by your pension fund administrator, and that is where they pay all benefits. I hope you both receive alert every month. Yes, sir. If you don't, or at any point in time, you don't receive it, go straight to the bureau. And when you go straight to the bureau, go to the ICT unit. Let them check the system and know why. And then people make sure that your entitlement goes straight into your retirement savings account. So anytime you hear RSA in pension balance, they are talking about your retirement savings account, just like your salary account. That is where all your money goes into, and that is where you withdraw from in future. This is a dedicated account opened by a PFA, Pension Fund Administrator, as specified under Section 11 of the Pension Reform Act 2014. Anytime you hear Pension Reform Act, talking about the federal government, as they are being regulated by PENCOM, they have the obligation, that is, PFAs have the obligation to open account for you. Then, we have to discuss about PFA, so you know what PFA is, no need to explain. Another aspect is pension fund custodian. Pension fund custodian is a company a company that has a responsibility or that is responsible for the warehousing of your money. Now, your money is paid, your money is from central bank, federal government, whatever, from central bank. When your documents, your data, your particulars have been certified by the Bureau, the Bureau, in collaboration with Office of the Accountant General, notifies the central bank to release your money. And the money will be paid directly to the pension fund custodian, the company responsible to warehousing your money. Like in Delta State is Zenith. It is from Zenith that we now look at the details, the schedule that will be given to them by the Bureau through the central bank. It is Zenith, that is the pension fund custodian, that will now pay just the way you pay your salary from computer center. Everybody, the lump sum comes from central bank, while the piecemeal to individual will now move from the pension fund custodian to the PFA, who will now credit your respective account. Personal identification number is called PIN. Anytime you hear PIN, is your personal identification number and personal pension identification number, or pension personal identification number, better put. Two people, just the way your account, your respective salary account, is not shared by another officer. That is how your pension identification number is peculiar to you for life. No other person anywhere, even in the shores and outside the shores of Nigeria, shares it with you. No, it's your own. It is 12 digits. And that is why before they write it, they will put PEN, that is pension PIN. You see it, they will put PEN, then they put many number. 12 is usually 12, not more than 12. Take note of that number. It's your own. Whenever you have any complaint, is what they use to identify your particulars immediately. But if anytime you want anything from, you must fill any form you want to fill having to do with your benefit, you must fill that number. However, to get your details as well with your computer number, once you go to the bureau, you access your other details. So your PIN is 12 digits, unique and lifetime pension personal identification number. These are numbers assigned by PENCOM to PFA. Everybody, they have their own. Just the way central bank and the commercial bank operates. Then ROI. Don't bother about all these terms. You have the material. It's just that there must be knowledge of first instance, so that no matter how big it may be, when you go back and start going through your material, it will be a refresher encounter and will make it to sink and be saved for life. So ROI, for those who studied business, is not new to them. It's return on investment. This is proceeds or profits from investment made by a PFA with the fund contributed by the retiree that are in his custody. We mean that under the contributory pension scheme, the PFA can invest your money in any of the monetary transaction environment, stock exchange, whatever. Then the profit gotten will now be given to you. But I tell you, don't bank so much on this because you don't know the amount of your money invested, and you don't know the amount of your money that came as a return. All you just know is that you have your retirement savings account, your retirement savings with them, and then periodically you just see it, it will shoot up. When you check, they say proceed. And that is why I encourage you, anytime you are not getting alert, please go rectify, so that there will be multiplier effect by way of benefit. Because two people having the same grade level, the same whatever salary for now saving together, the one whose account is being credited, within a space of 7 months, you will not believe the huge gap that will be between that person's savings and the one that is starting. Enough time. What is retirement? We won't discuss that, we have discussed it. Mode of exit from service. You can access your retirement benefit only when you are retired. Retirement is not compulsory that you must get to 60 years or you must serve 35 years. There is what they call voluntary retirement. When fortune smiles at you more than your immediate environment, you can opt to move. Yes, but I tell you, if you know what some of us or some of our people that travel, what they are seeing, it's very horrible. Even under the cold, some will get up and stay outside, homeless. And Trump security agents will come and be pursuing, come and see beating. But we are not trained to be pessimistic, we are trained to be optimistic. So when the opportunity comes, you want to move. Be sure of where you are going to. Even at primary school, there was a reader. A topic says, "Look before you leap," so that you don't take actions that will make you to regret. Let your tomorrow be better than your today. Don't ever allow your yesterday to be better than your today and tomorrow. Having said that, there is another one called compulsory retirement. Compulsory retirement is the one that most people who have attained 60 years or 35 years of service, whichever comes next, those are the ones. One of my very good friend, we started work the same day, a unionist. He was one time immediate past chairman of the Senior Staff Association, retired yesterday. I felt it. Because on Monday here I received my retirement letter, approved retirement letter. Thank you. Before, when we were small, when you see people who are 60, they used to pay them, you see the age. But now, if some of us will put up paper and carve a modern Gen Z head, they will accept us.
I'm telling you.
So, there is what they call compulsory retirement. And another one, there are other 2 ways. They are not too good. I pray that none of them should happen to any of you, even your children and generations to come. The first one is dismissal. An employee is dismissed from the public service when the officer commits an infraction which runs contrary to the provision of the public service rule that guides the conduct of an employee towards the discharge of his or her duty to be entitled to his contribution. Now, yesterday, our one-time head of service, he only interviewed me. You know, he did not interview, I was interviewed as a tax officer. I was interviewed as a tax officer, but when they come out, they say, the woman in charge of tax, her question is difficult, and the people that they seem to be more benevolent. When I enter, the woman asked me, Osuya, considering the fact that Delta State is very rich, are you aware that Delta State is very rich? I said, yes, ma'am. It's okay. Considering the fact that Delta State is very rich, is it not good for the state government to still be taxing citizens? I said, of course. Since governance is a going concern, don't mind, some of us went, became manager, or we're not getting job satisfaction when I came to service. So that was how you can see we just came, it's like we are going 7 years down the line after graduation before I came to service. Meanwhile, when I came, some people just finished with service. So I said, since governance is a going concern, and given the enormous tax or work that government has for its people to create an enabling environment for them to thrive, they hold the government a civic responsibility, like taxation and obeying the laws. I don't know his name then. Oga Okofili dropped his pen and said, which school did you attend? I said, UNN. So I said, then one retired accountant general, Agbele, civil Agbele, I don't know them that time. And I said, what did you study? I said, business. He said, that must be University of Nigeria, Enugu campus. I said, you are correct, sir. And when the publication came out, instead of tax officer, I saw myself as admin. And it's admin I studied. I don't know anything about it. So, dismissal is leaving the service before when you are supposed to leave the service. You heard what our one-time head of service said about how lobbying of supposed to made one to leave the service when he cannot pronounce cannot pronounce the initials of the governor and even the event of that day. Yes. But I tell you, giving to your question, I can't talk you working the service, you don't talk when you become as finalized. There is provision in public service rule. There is provision in public service rule for dismissal based on incompetence. You already qualified to be an admin officer. You already qualified. All the training you will go through is for you to be positioned to administer your schedule effectively and efficiently. That is why my book on basic knowledge for effective service delivery is very important. If you have done all through these books, you find out that most of the things we are doing and you will do all through will be just be revision. Is there any here that doesn't have the book? My books. You co-author. How many of you? That is my commitment to the service. I made up my mind that all admin officers, after the launching of that book, all converting those books, since they have direct bearing on service. One is public service, poised for satisfactory delivery. The other one is basic knowledge for effective service that has to do with memo writing, the different types of memo writing, the different type of minutes writing, minutes of meeting, minutes as a medium of communication, speech writing. You never can tell if you come your way, and it comes suddenly. I went under a permanent secretary, J.C. Morgan, and confirmed Okonkwo can confirm. No, not MN Okonkwo, late Kingdom. Professor Amos Otuama, when he's going to represent late Professor Amos Otuama, blessed memory, that man has regard for civil service. At every point in time, he's always asking, what does the rule say? That under you write speech. I am not, the assignment will just come. My permanent secretary then, J.C. Walker, retired. We say, bring up a speech on this. The man is very knowledgeable, he knows how to pamper somebody. After praising me, come and see what he will write now. You will know that there is difference between a cub and a lion. So, going by your question, I want to, Rule 4, take note. Rule 4, Chapter 1 of Public Service Rule says, nothing in these public rules, nothing in these public rules shall be construed as limiting the powers of the state government to amend or revoke any of its provisions at any time. So the governor can dismiss, he has the veto. The governor as well can see somebody say, he may go for weekend, see somebody say, you are finished school, say, come over, go, let him be employed. He has the power. As he has the power to employ without the requisite laid down rules of advertising, intervene, the same way he has the power to dismiss. I hope that settles that. This is just digression, but I know it's useful to all of us. So that is the type of direct answer you needed yesterday. Then, there are benefits. The other one, which is the horrible aspect of it, is debt. You heard me, I said, the then class rep I was assistant is no more. Many of us, I feel it, because we started together like this. May God in His mercy keep you all of you alive in Jesus' name. So that not only keep you alive, but keep you to enjoy your pension benefits in Jesus' name. Another form of exit from public service is death. When an employee dies in active service, the death benefit, which comprises of the contribution, what he contributed in his RSA, and the accrued right, if he has, are paid to the next of kin or beneficiary to the late officer, that is his estate, after satisfying all requirements. Benefits of contributory pension. As the saying goes, a worker is entitled to his wages. So also, a retiree looks forward to receiving his or her pension at retirement. Since the commencement of the contributory pension scheme in Nigeria, one pension term that most of us still use, or that is still used to refer to pension payment, is the word gratuity. In the old pension scheme, the permanent secretaries are still receiving what they call gratuity. It has to do with the old pension scheme. It's not with the new contributory pension scheme. A lump sum that government gives you, thereafter they will be paying your pension. It's called gratuity. It's in the old pension scheme. Before we proceed to identify the different payment options available to retirees, there is need for us to understand that the term gratuity under the contributory pension scheme has a different meaning and usage. People use others to augment. No, it's not just there. It was a term used to describe the part payment of describe a part payment of payment option available under the defined pension scheme, that is old pension scheme, as discussed. Under the contributory pension scheme, we have three payments payment method. One of them is lump sum. Lump sum, ideally, in the PENCOM template, is 25% of your entitlement. But some PFAs, at times they skip. That's why competition is good. When two elephants are fighting, the grass suffers. But when two caterers are fighting in order to outsmart each other, the hungry man enjoys. So 25% is what they are supposed to pay, but some go ahead and pay more than that, just to make sure that they owe officers to their PFA or they outsmart the others. It is enshrined in the Pension Act of the federal government and the Delta State Pension Reform Law. Another one is program withdrawal. Program withdrawal, you decide. You have option to choose either to go into program withdrawal or annuity. Program withdrawal is managed by PFAs. That is, you say, this is what you want. Every month, this is what they pay you. While annuity is managed by insurance company, not PFA. Take note of this. I will explain the difference after. It's left for you to choose the one you belong or the one you wish to follow. There are differences we'll go through. The money for pension, when you are in the church and you are ministering, somebody comes like this, you know your time is up. But this is public service. And when they come like this, you need to know that you have to speed up, not that your time is up. Am I correct? Although she did not tell me anything, no. So, there are basic features of program withdrawal. Take note, because this will guide you to choose the one you want to use. The money for pension must be allocated to RSA, that is retirement savings account. But in annuity, that is a program withdrawal, but in annuity, it is pooled. It is put in pension pool account. Insurance pool fund is what they call it. In program withdrawal, the retiree who works for program withdrawal can convert. You can move from one PFA to another. You can even move to annuity. But when you go to annuity, once you go into insurance, forget it, you are not coming out. You are not moving. You just there, and be marking your time. There are retirement benefits under the program withdrawal. The benefits are directly, the retirees benefits directly. The retirees, they benefit directly from positive return. We will discuss ROI, that is return on investment. They benefit directly from returns on investment from their pension fund. Whereas an annuity, since the fund is pooled, they use it when there is return, whatever, they put it back. You don't earn directly. No, they are the one using it to sustain the program. Then, in program withdrawal, the retiree may outlive his RSA balance. That is to say that after the time given to you, that this is when it will end. That this is when your entitlement, you now begin to manage yourself with manna from heaven. But pension The annuity is payment for life. They pay you no matter how, whatever. Then, regulation, the program withdrawal is regulated by PENCOM, National Pension Commission. While annuity is regulated by PENCOM and National Insurance Company. Investment risk is shouldered by the retiree because it's your money that they use, and when there is return, you get it, you get the gain. But investment risk is shouldered by the insurance company. It has nothing to, you don't know how they are going about it. Then if there is any balance in the RSA after the death of a retiree in program withdrawal, they pay to the beneficiary or the next of kin. But in annuity, once the person dies, the insurance company will now assure the money to themselves. They don't pay next of kin. If a retiree in program withdrawal finishes his amount in whatever at any point in time, the estate will not be entitled to payment. Then in insurance, that is annuity. If a retiree dies before 10 years, they will pay the balance to the estate. But if after 10 years, that is when they will not pay you anything. There are two important areas we have to look at. Submission of retirement documents. Without looking the write-up. See, when you retire, or when you are about to, 6 months to when you want to retire, you write to your head of service, to the office of head of service, notifying the office of head of service, even civil service commission, through the head of service to civil service commission, that you are about to retire. And then you get approval. Once you get approval, you take that approval of your retirement and go to bureau. They will give you a form. In filling the form, you have to attach photocopies of the approval of the retirement, first appointment, last promotion, birth certificate or affidavit, record of service, take note of it. Then certificate of non-intested from office of the head of service, even that of your immediate office. Nominal role of when you retire, when your salary stops. Nominal role of when you retire, the month salary was last received and the month that your name was removed from the nominal role, and the payslip of the retirement of the month of retirement. This is important because at the bureau, many of them don't know. We found out that some people will retire and they keep their cool and be receiving salary. So we even go and take housing or vehicle loan, and then they will be enjoying their cool. Thereafter, they will now come to collect their accrued right. The indebtedness unit of the bureau will now check these nominal roles when your name appeared last and when they removed it. And when you're retired, they will now calculate all that you have collected the other way around and deduct it from your entitlement. At times, what they used to get is minus. Then, after your document, besides this, when you're submitted, the bureau will check your data and give you a certificate having surface value of your accrued right. And then you take this, you take it to the PFA, your own PFA. Then they will now commence the payment process to get clearance from PENCOM. But I tell you, make sure that your name is correct. Because if your name is inconsistent, PENCOM will not give them approval to pay you. until you go and rectify that, and there is evidence of rectification, either through affidavit. If it has to do with age, you must go to National Identification Number Commission to ensure that your date of birth is the same. If it's new one, you give the new one, or you correct it with the one that was initially submitted. If not, when they give you certificate, you will still not receive your money until that is done. At times it takes them 6 months, when ordinarily few weeks you are supposed to get your money. So please, just like the soldiers, not victims, the soldiers of the screening exercise. Anytime I have opportunity like this, I tell them, like when I facilitated last month in Office of Head of Service, those that are about to retire, I told them, go and rectify your records. In conclusion, we are concluding now. It is important to highlight for the purpose of clarity that under the contributory pension scheme, 7.5% are deducted from the worker's salary, while the government contributes 10% of same salary into RSA, that is Retirement Savings Account. Also, the scheme is regulated by the National Pension Commission, that is PENCOM, while payments are done by Pension Fund Administration, PFA. The Bureau for State Pension, that is for those working or still not local government. Local government have their local government Bureau of State Pension, like they call it. But that of the state is Bureau for State Pension. The Bureau only certifies, that is, check your particulars, submit retirement documents. That is, they check your submitted retirement documents in order to ensure that accurate benefits are timely paid to retirees. In other words, what they check at the Bureau is to make sure that you are not underpaid. And at the same time, to make sure that you are not overpaid. And to make sure that people are not paid twice. The state government pays to the central government. Thereafter, the Bureau, upon certification or in collaboration with the Office of the Accountant General, requests the central bank to release certified amount, that is the amount certified, to the state. They request the central bank to release the certified amount to state engaged pension solution service provider. This is a new engagement. Every day, the contributory pension is developing itself to make sure that there is accuracy. This pension solution service provider is less than 4 months in Delta State. They will now check to make sure that all your data they are correct, so that your money will not be paid to another. After that certification, they will now release the same. All these things are figure, not the cash figure, to your pension fund custodian, who in turn pays to pension fund administrators that will credit your account. Therefore, given this scenario, the payment process is safe, secured, and strict. Thank you so very much for listening.